Man.
Welcome. Listen, I got a couple questions. Number one, can a convicted felon of 34 counts be the president of the United States of America? This is a triggering, but yet very important question. Very important question. What's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts?
It's obviously looking like it's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? The black vote is rising in Trump's way. So, we got these black votes with a felon, bro. You know what I'm saying? Do we like felons? Do we appreciate felons? We're gonna talk about it some more, man. I'm like, another question I have is women helping these presidents or hurting these presidents? Because all the presidents that got out of office or impeached is because of women. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about it, man.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Man, let's go ahead and roll that intro, man. We got a lot to cover today, a lot of education, and what does this mean for you in your business, right? As we navigate politics and business. So with that being said, let's run that intro.
They caught me.
Got you slipping.
Oh man, let's get into it, man. So first off,
you want to do the intro?
Oh yeah, you're right. What's up, everybody? I'm Neil Parker, real estate investor, entrepreneur, Lafayette, Louisiana. I've been in real estate since 2016, full-time entrepreneurship since 2020. I do all things real estate, love rentals, love passive income. I'm a contractor in the Louisiana area. If you need help with any construction needs, make sure you holler at us. I'm also a mentor in the real estate space. If you want to learn how to get in this business while you still have a full-time job, you want to replace your full-time job, or you just need some extra income, I'm your guy, reach out to me as well. And that's me, man. I'm looking to help you. I'm looking to help the Black community, shrinking the wealth gap. That's me.
Yes, indeed. Listen, my name is Byron, real estate investor out of Houston, Texas, primarily focused on the wholesale space, do a little bit of creative finance, fix and flip, new construction, new to the build to rent space. I also have a construction company where we help builders build, whether you in-state, out-of-state, don't matter. We can literally take your project from start to finish here in the Houston market and surrounding areas with first choice development. So you definitely want to tap in with me. Matter of fact, we got a paint job just started, yesterday, man. So we giving full service too, man. So it's a beautiful thing that we putting together. It's really unheard of at our price point and even in our industry. So you definitely want to tap in if you want to take advantage of that. But man, you had something. You got a question. Yeah.
I know when this first came out, everybody knew Donald Trump is guilty of 34 counts of a few things. And I'm sure it wasn't just me. People was like, can he continue to run for president? Can he actually be a president now that he's a convicted felon?
Yes, indeed.
And the answer to that is yes, he can.
Yes, he can.
For me, it's crazy that, you can become a president as a felon, but you can't even vote. I know every state is a little different. In Louisiana, you can't even vote as a felon. You can't carry a weapon as a felon. There's a lot of things you can't not do as a felon, but how the hell can you be a president as a felon?
Yeah. Well,
that is wild, bro.
Yeah, let's look at what the Constitution says. So yes, a felon can run for president. Okay. The U.S. Constitution sets the qualifications. You must be at least 35 years old. Okay. A natural born citizen and a resident for at least 14 years. Key qualifications according to the Constitution. Okay.
Well, he
So,
meets all the requirements. You know, he got the age 35. He's a natural born American, and he been a citizen. I mean, he been a U.S. resident for at least 14 years. So that's just crazy, though, bro.
yeah,
Because
been a resident.
I'm just trying to imagine this guy actually wins, and they say, "Look, you got to go ahead and sit down for 2-3 years." How the hell? What's gonna happen?
Well, here's the thing. You know, the reason why I believe the forefathers put this rule in place is because at the end of the day, we've heard in other countries of what they call political prisoners, right? And what these political prisoners typically are people who have, for whatever reason, pissed off the sitting president or the sitting people in power. And bro, that's all it takes for you to be going to jail. They can trump up some charges on you, whether they real or fake, and have you sitting in jail uh over the smallest thing just to get rid of you. Just to get rid of you. And so that's a real thing. That's a real thing. So the question is, are these charges even charges that should even been brought?
Mm.
Some people believe that some of these charges were a low blow for the Democrats to even bring
Get
these
on top.
charges up, and they are directly targeting the Democrats for bringing the charges.
So the Democrats brought the charges up. They brought all this up to begin with. Like they started the research and all that.
Well, that's speculation.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, they did bring it at the most opportune time. Think about it. They could have brought these charges a long time ago, bro. Bro, they brought these joints right before, right before this election situation is popping off. So there's something to be said about that, right? And I want to dive not only into what does this mean for us, as business people, as people who are looking to gain a certain level of success, what does this mean for us? Me personally, bro, I've watched a couple things. I've watched a couple things that make me a little uneasy. You know what I'm saying? As to how I've noticed that, bro, it's when you reach certain levels of success, bro, it
They want
can.
to take you down, man.
Yes.
They want to take you down.
Yeah, bro. And I'm not saying that it's not a right or wrong type of thing, right? I'm not saying if you do something that's wrong, you should be held accountable just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But it seems like, it's like when you have a certain level of success and you've pissed a few people off in
They
high
come and get you.
places. Yeah, man, they just gonna come and get you, bro.
That's just life, though. That's life.
That's life.
But I want to talk about Donald Trump. So as it reads right here, Manhattan jury found Donald Trump guilty of all 34 counts of falsifying business records in his hush money criminal trial, an unprecedented and historic verdict that makes him the first former U.S. president in history to be convicted of a felony. Now, I want to talk about this because me personally, falsifying business records, we got to keep it real. Lots of people do that. Is it good? No, but lots of people do that. You know what I'm saying? And then paying people hush money. I know politics on every level that do that. I'm talking about even the city councilman down the street. So what you thoughts about that? Because we gotta keep it real now.
Yeah. So what you saying is, on that credit application, you went ahead and put $1 million on that month.
No,
you went for $500,000.
I ain't exposing myself to nothing, but I truly believe that 90% of people in business then falsified some type of something.
Something.
I say 95% of people that's in business
Damn.
falsify. Of course, bro. Like we gotta keep it real now.
Well, here's the thing. Some rules don't make sense. Some rules don't make. We're gonna blame it on the rules. Some of the rules are rigged.
I'm gonna say multiple times they ask for your stated income. Even when you go to get a bank account, hey, how much money do you think you're gonna make in the next year? They got like 50, 30 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 500,000, or 500 to a million. What we always gonna say? 500 to a million. What is that, Byron? Is that if you know your ass ain't fit to make 500 to a million, why you gonna say it? That's false document. It's false. You know what I'm saying?
just keep it a beat. So what you saying is basically okay. So a lot of business. So what you saying is the training system that Trump had was fucked up. His prior training.
Like, come on, bro.
Proper behavior was fucked from the beginning. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, bro. I'm just saying it's business, bro. Like even when you go for a credit card. How much money do you think you're gonna make in the next 12 months? Cap. you look at the bank, what's the most I can put?
That's hilarious.
That's false. That's falsified business record.
Yeah.
We gotta keep it a beat, you know.
But here's the deal. So no, I want to just kind of give everybody a little bit more of the facts on this. So it's like, so this is just something to note. Okay. A felon can run for federal office. Okay. They may face challenges related to the state laws regarding voting rights. Many states restrict the voting rights of felons. This is crazy. And the specifics vary widely from state to state. For example, some states restore voting rights upon completion of a prison sentence, while others may require additional steps such as parole completion or a governor's pardon for you to be able to vote and get those voting rights restored. So question is, right, did you know that? Do you know if, this is for my people who may have felonies, right? Do you know that you may actually be able to vote if you went to prison, right? You may be able to vote if you can get a governor's pardon, right? Or you've completed your parole. These are all things that we need to know as informed citizens because some of us do have felonies on our records. Keep it real. Some of us do. And so it's good to know what the state law got to say about your particular situation, especially if it's for a non-violent crime. If you out here killing people or, touching on children, that's a different.
You don't deserve to do nothing.
Yeah. Just go sit your ass at home. I'm just saying respectfully, But the question is, I want to ask this question to everybody real quick. Do you believe a felon should be allowed to run for president? If so, for the United States particularly, if so, put a yes. We're going to do a poll. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Quick poll. Do you believe a president should be allowed to run as a felon? Yes, no, unsure. Yes, no, unsure. Do we have a poll? If we don't have a poll, just put it in the chat. I'd rather a poll.
The poll coming. The poll coming.
Poll is coming. Poll is coming.
If y'all want to join the show, man, I'll put the link in the chat as well.
Yeah. Love to get some insight. Because this is gonna be we got a lot of no's pulling up, man.
It's gonna be an impactful. Hey, I'm looking at the current presidential race, man. Trump losing, bro.
The poll's slipping, huh? Let me see what you look at. Let me see.
It's all good though. We're gonna see what happens. We just here for the American people, man. We just here to talk about what we see.
Yeah. I do know one thing though. Why do y'all believe, and I would love to get, I'm waiting because I want to pose this question to a lot of people. I really want to pose this question to Najee. But why do y'all believe that the black vote, right? Here's the thing. For the first time in America, in a long time, bro, the black vote is really going to be a determining factor potentially in whether or not Joe Biden loses or wins, or if Trump loses or wins.
So you think the black vote? So you think the black vote is the deciding factor of this whole situation?
It's 100% going to be a major deciding factor in who wins this election. Here's the thing: black folks have voted for Democrats at a 90 percentile, bro. 90+% of the black vote has went to Democrats for I don't know how long.
For years, forever.
Years. And this is something that we need to talk about. Why is it that is it that the Democrats speak to our issues to the point to where 90%, that's close to 100% of us believe that they have the right way. They are the right way. They are the truth and the light. Is this what most black people feel? I want to know. Do most black people believe the only party to vote for in America that makes sense for us, and this is changing? A lot of young voters, a lot of young black voters are voting more and more conservatively. Matter of fact, I want to look at this from a couple different ways, right? Strategically, is it smart to give anybody 90% of anything, right, in terms of your backing or support? Is that a smart political strategy? I want to know, right? I want to know if giving anybody 90% of your political backing is a smart way to go. The next thing I want to know is from a strategical standpoint and I look at all of these things as negotiations. All of these things as negotiations. I want to know from the chat, is it smart strategically from a negotiation standpoint, meaning I'm going to vote for you if you give me this and I give you that, but before we even start the negotiation, you got 90% of my support. Is that strategically, is that a smart position to put yourself in from a negotiation standpoint? I want to know this. We got a Najee in the building.
What's up?
And
what's up?
I got a question for Najee. You know what I'm saying? And for all of the folk, shout out to Najee in the building. You mind giving a quick intro to who you are before we even kick this thing off, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Y'all hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Najee Barnes, long-term buy and hold real estate investor in Houston. The hater of Trump, you can call me that for the day. I go ahead and put my position out there up front. So
up front.
You want it to be known.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good with letting it be known. There ain't no I ain't straddle fence over here. We're gonna be straight up with it.
Straight up with it.
Well, look, to back up what Byron said, man, black voters. So this was from CBS News. Black voter support for Trump went up from 4% to 23%. Wow. Black voters have risen 19 points in the last 4 years.
4 years. That is wild.
I believe that.
Why do you think that is, OJ?
I mean, you want me to get y'all want to learn something?
Hold on. Before we go there, because that's a hell of a question. Keep that question.
Yeah,
I want to ask him before we get there. From a negotiation standpoint, Najee, is it smart? Is it smart as black folks looking to advance to give anybody 90% of our support without coming to the table with the negotiation terms that we feel will benefit us? Is that a smart position to be in strategically?
I think it's a false narrative to say that we never come to the table with negotiating, right? So I think we've been negotiating since MLK went up to Congress, in the '60s, right? So, we've always been negotiating. I think the question of now in the last 20 years, do we have a unified voice and do we have a unified platform? That answer is no, right? So it doesn't really matter to that question. I think is more imperative that Black people have more of a unified voice and a platform. Right now, we are devoid of leadership within our community to have a signified voice. Back in the day, we would have the collegiate students, we would have various organizations, Black Panthers, MLK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all these kind of groups that had a consensus on what a platform should be, right? We're the only group. We're the largest voting bloc in America that does not have a consensus platform, right? If you look at the Anti-Defamation League, right, that they represent the Jews. They have a very clear platform, and they have a smaller population than us. So we don't really do that, right? Who really represents us? The NAACP really don't do that anymore. Who represents us? Jay-Z or somebody like we're so fragmented as far as who speaks for us. That's our number one problem, not necessarily saying, oh, well, we don't negotiate with Republicans or whatever. So all they do is get to appeal to our votes based on what they think our platform is, or what a few congressmen who may or may not represent us, frankly, or may be too long in the tooth to represent current issues of Black in America. That's all they have to appeal to. So, I think the conversation has to start there. What are we looking for? Right. So I'll push that back to you. Right. I don't know if anybody in the chat, like, can people in the chat, we could talk here for 3 hours, and I don't think we would come up with a top three things that as African Americans that we all will, as a consensus, will agree on.
Hmm.
Here's the thing, right?
African Americans that we can
Here's the
all
thing. Black folk been giving
agree on.
the Democrats 90+% of our vote for so long. Me personally, right? Now this is not to pick a side or anything. I believe if I can depend on 90% of your support, why do I, as a candidate, need to do anything for you?
If I know I'm gonna get your
That's a
vote.
real question. Why, if I know that I can lean and depend on Anaje, 90% support, whether I say the right thing or I don't say the right things. A lot of times they do have to make sure they say the right thing. They got to go to the right church, right? You got to go to the right churches and do the campaign. You got to do the work, right? You got to do the work. But maybe if I can make sure that I have a good productive conversation with Cardi B, maybe if I have a great conversation with Cardi B,
father when she was growing up.
Let's see.
She called me Joey B. So
Yeah.
This is a wow.
7-year-old presidential hopeful for
maybe we can have a great conversation with Cardi B about politics. To me, that right there is a perfect example of playing in Black folk face, knowing that 90% of y'all are gonna vote regardless. So I might as well just go to Cardi B as a representative for what Black folk want. Can you help me understand how, from a negotiation standpoint, this is helpful?
Yeah, no. First of all, that this right here is a prime example of what I was just talking about, right? You know, can you hear me? Cardi B doesn't represent me at all, right? I mean, she needs to sit her butt down. She don't need to be on nobody's political platform, right? So, this is a prime example of what I'm saying, though. But we're also devoid of leadership. So who else is he supposed to go to? You know what I'm saying? Now, to answer your question specifically, we know for certain that the other side, not only are they not trying to appeal to us, right? Not only are they not trying to appeal to us, they get there by putting their foot on our neck, right? The whole nature of their power, the whole nature of the MAGA base is you got a bunch of poor white people that the only way that they can feel good in life is by subjugating Black people. The only way that they can feel like they've came up in life is to say that you're better than these N words, right? That's the only way the other side wins, right? Like that's how they get their votes. Their votes is saying we're trying to go to the largest voting bloc in America, which is white men, and we're going to create a devil for them. And the devil looks like me and you. So I don't understand the idea, right, of saying, hey, the guys that subjugate us the most, because let's just talk about the policy, right? Like I understand what you're saying, right? But Democrats aren't putting out policies that directly subjugates black folks. Democrats aren't putting out policies that says, you know what, hey man, that whole slavery thing, yeah, that was just some free workers and they really enjoyed that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's now in the history books, right? Like, hey, y'all got some benefits out of slavery. Like Democrats ain't coming up with stuff like that, right? So the question is
Are
to say, hey,
Republicans put like this? Let's look at some of the things under
Democrats
Trump.
aren't doing. Hold on, Democrats aren't trying to take your votes away. Like they're trying to enhance your votes, right? That's the nature of Democrats, right? They're trying to grow the voting pie. Republicans are
Are they
trying to
trying to
shrink them.
just bring in migrants to replace black folks because black folks is moving more towards
Well, again, I
diversifying
think
our
that's
options?
well. See, I think that's a trope right there that you just used that Republicans use to. No, I'm being straight up, right? Because
Yeah.
I have a whole series, and I will invite you guys on it. I got a whole series about to queue up on talking about how immigration is good for our country, right? And that's
I
a
love it.
false. No. That's a huge false narrative that black people. So here's the whole deal. Poor white people, this is how you control a population, right? This goes back to Fred Hampton. If anybody understands their history, right? Fred Hampton brought poor white folks and black folks together, right? That's a devil for Republicans. Here's the move.
They don't like poor people.
Yeah, Republicans want to pit black people versus poor white folks and let y'all know that there's a difference and y'all each other's enemy, even though both of y'all ass is poor. Okay. And then for black folks, they want to pit us against immigrants, particularly Mexican migrants or whatever, to say, hey, they really stealing your jobs. Right. None of this is actually accurate. Right. Economies go up with immigration. That's a fact because it's a population growth deal. Right. But no one wants to talk about this. We just want to fight each other because we don't want to, because the whole design is if I steal your money, but blame somebody else, you looking the other way. If I got you over here looking over here while I steal your money, then you're distracted, right? So for me, I like to just look at actual facts of whatever. My position on immigration has nothing to do with how I feel about those people. It has to do with the economy of this country, right? So I'm pro-immigration because the economy does better, right? I'm pro-immigration because 40% of all doctors are foreign-born, and we need doctors to survive, right? Like that's actual fact. I'm pro-immigration because 30% of engineers are foreign-born, and we should need engineers in this country, right? These are the reasons why I'm pro-immigration. I'm pro-immigration because, frankly, my people ain't working in no cotton field no more. Keeping it real, right? So we have to get into realities of things and not how we feel or how we've been told, right? And how we've been told is what we see on social media. Oh, hate these immigrants because they stealing your jobs. Aren't they?
Yeah,
right?
but I don't think anybody is against proper immigration. I don't think no side is against proper immigration. So let's put that out there.
Well, define proper immigration. Define proper immigration.
Proper integration is people who go through the process to get to this country. Right?
What is this process and how's this changed over time?
The process is not easy. I'm not saying that the process is easy, but it's proper channels in order to migrate into this country. And that's to any country.
Did the Irish go by proper channels when they came over here?
Most people don't, though.
Yeah, a lot of people skip the line. Listen,
hold on. Everybody has skipped the line systematically in this country.
Yeah. A lot of people have skipped the line, but the process benefits. Listen, here's the deal. A lot of the people that you were talking about that become doctors and lawyers and all of these different things, those people are not skipping the line, Najee. Let's keep it real. Those people are coming over here correctly. Hold on. Those people, no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's not true.
They are.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Listen, the people who are coming here, you mean the people who are coming from overseas? Bruh, a lot of them people that are coming here from overseas are not violating the law to get here, bro. They're doing it the right way. Bullshit. Most of them are not. Most of them are not.
Well,
most of them are not.
Well,
Trust me.
let me give you one very
Most of them
specific.
just get married to
Trump-
American for 6 months and then they get divorced.
Yeah,
But that ain't skipping the line. That's not breaking. That's not breaking the law.
Well,
You understand what I'm saying? It's not.
Byron.
We have laws in place for them to do that.
Trump wanted to stop immigration from Nigeria. Okay, he specifically called Nigeria a dirty scumbag country. That's what
When did he say that?
Oh no, he like bro, like this.
He wanted to stop immigration from Nigeria.
No,
he said this.
Did. He actually did. Like
you got a receipt?
Oh come on, man. Like yeah, I ain't saying that they ain't got no receipts. Oh hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see we go find
it. yeah. Trump immigration on that, like that was a big one. That was such a big one because Nigerians represent a large portion of doctors and nurses in this country, right? See, this is the problem, right? We take rhetoric and then we create policy based on rhetoric and not facts, and that's a problem. Right, like at the end of the day, and y'all, and you put me on mute. Y'all go back. So let me go ahead and find these receipts right quick. But that right there was a big one. Like that's a very big.
I see a little bit of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a whole. That was a whole thing, man. Like that was a whole thing. Because again, the problem is he uses race to garner up his support, and for me, that's the comedy of black people trying to support Trump. The guy is openly racist, like from whether he was discriminating against his own tenants back in the day in New York to the Central Park Five, which he still hasn't apologized for, right? Like those dudes have suffered more for being innocent than he ever has or ever, right? And I just find the whole thing insane for black people to support someone who's overtly not down with them. Like that for me is insanity.
Why do you believe? Let's go back to O's question. Why do you believe that so many black people are moving more towards Trump, especially young people?
No, it's black and Latinos.
Black and Latinos.
Well, I think it's two separate things, right? I'll talk about black people first. I think the Latino thing is a separate thing. I do have an analysis on both.
And we got to get Don's perspective too.
Yeah, we can get Don in here, but with black people, it's here's what I will give a massive amount of praise to the Republican Party for. Massive amount. Democrats suck at what I'm about to say. They are fantastic at marketing and advertising. Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. Now, when you talk about high-level marketing, right? One of the great ways of high-level marketing is creating like-kind conversations, meaning, Byron, if me and you have something in common, and I hammer that, and I talk about the things that we have in common 1,000%. Sooner or later, you will believe this is a psychology thing, right? Sooner or later, you believe like, hey, we have a lot in common, even though we're only focused on one thing, right? Even though I'm only focused on one item that we have in common, sooner or later, you'll start to think that we have other things in common. And so I can bring up another position to talk to you about. And all of a sudden you start to hear that position because we have this one position in common that we hammered home, boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden we can start to talk about other things that we didn't have in common at first, but maybe we start to do now if you listen to me enough. And now you're listening to me a lot because we talked about this one thing. So the question is, what is that one thing I'm talking about? It was the vaccine. Okay. They found, and this is a fact, black people are quite conservative about a lot of things. We're quite conservative. We're definitely conservative about going to see the doctor. Black men don't see the doctor less than anybody, right? Like we're the worst at going to the doctor. We're the worst at trusting doctors. We have a really bad history with medicine in this country. When you talk about Tuskegee and all that kind of stuff, right? We have a very bad history. I believe systematically they use that as a bringer together, right? They brought us together with, you had, and we saw it on Clubhouse, right? We saw people, and I believe people on Clubhouse were political operatives. I stand on that. Now I stand on that 100%. You had strange bedfellows. You had Hotep types agreeing with white nationalists on Clubhouse about the vaccine. Like people who were clearly white nationalists down with the Hotep types guys, right? And you're like, well, what is these strange bedfellows? Because they agreed on the vaccine, right? And that's something that you can agree on somebody, but disagree on 90% of other things, right? But if that's all you're talking about is the vaccine, then sooner or later, you might listen to me about other things. And that's where you start to see, oh yeah, well, black people shouldn't have reparations. Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about all these things that actually benefit black people, and then now we start to change our opinion. So there's a whole psychology to that, and I think that has occurred. Right now, the percentages of support to Trump, who knows? I don't think black women are moving to Trump the same way as
Now,
black men have.
black women ain't moving like how black men are, or
No,
young
but
people.
they're not. Yeah, or young people, right?
Yeah.
But young people still don't. And here's the reality of it. One thing I do know is I just started noticing, because I think we all see the amount of quote unquote black support and social media towards Trump has increased. I wouldn't be silly to deny that, right?
Why
I
do
think
you
we
think
all.
that is, though?
Well, what I'm explaining, right? It's a high level market. They sought out to market their brand to us, right? Which is to your point, like, hey, they should be marketing to us. The problem is they're not bringing any real policy to the table. The problem is no. I'm being dead serious to this, right? Have any of you guys actually read their policy that they plan to put into place when Trump comes in office? Project 2025. Has anybody seen this?
I've
Anybody?
heard about it. But I mean
Yeah, I would.
that's something that the Republicans are working towards getting Trump to back, not something that he put together specifically himself. Is that correct?
That's the platform, right? Like let's be real clear. Project 2025 is the platform. And I think
But is
it
that
would be,
Trump, or is that some people putting that
well,
together, kind of
the
similar to what
heritage
Ice
the
Cube
Heritage
put
Institute.
together?
No. This is not some random group, by the way, right? The Heritage Institute historically has put the Republican platform together. They're backing this. They have backed every Republican platform, and every a platform that the Heritage Institute puts into place. This is what the Republicans put into policy, right? We're seeing that in Texas right now with education, right? That's the Heritage Institute. Right now, they're trying to demolish public education because they don't believe public education is a fundamental right. Now, there's nowhere in the Constitution that says the public education is a fundamental right. They clearly don't believe it, right? And they're trying to get rid of it. And that's something clearly that's in Project 2025 that's being adopted by Abbott and will clearly get adopted at the national level, right? Like at the end of the day, like this is what's being put into place. And so it's again, I love my people, but we can't go blindly support somebody without even looking at what the policy is, right? So like go look at what the policy is and not be, oh, I like this guy because he talks shit. Like that can't be the answer.
Oh,
Right?
not
Like
do you think majority of the black voters are not really don't really research, don't really know what's going on?
I mean, absolutely not, y'all. We know this, right? Like we know. And but let's keep it real, right? Most voters, like I'm not gonna signify to say, oh, black voters aren't doing their homework. White voters don't do
No,
their homework. Right.
they
Like
just they pick a side, stay aside. That's it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, white women in mass support abortion rights, yet they vote against themselves. So I mean, I'm not gonna signal out black folks with that, you know.
Yeah. So Dunn, I want to get Dunn's take on this. So number one, I want him to answer that question. Then I want him to get the O's question. Do you believe strategically that it's ever smart, right? Strategically, whether you're negotiating anything, to give somebody 90% of your support before you even ask for something?
Short answer is no.
Okay.
Long answer is, what's your alternative? The alternative. So see, the thing is that I'm going to you. Well, Najee said you talked about being united in message. We're not united in message. We're not united in money. If we were united in message and you were united in money, you could say, listen, I get what I want. I'm walking away from the table. If we walk away from the table, the other guy you really don't want gets in. What's the alternative?
Well, the alternative is, you have to have better coalitions that have negotiating power. But I don't even think we have either. And we're just blindly giving folk 90% of our support, whether they give us anything or not. That's why they can play in your face and just do a real town hall with somebody like a Cardi B and tell you to just smile and be all right with that.
And that's the thing. So we could have more power. See, when you can't walk away from the table, then you have to be able to negotiate in mass. You have to say, as a block, we're going to do this. But
okay.
what
do you think about the fact that that Ice Cube took a proposal that, that some may agree was very beneficial to, black folk. He took it to Biden. Biden was like, look, I ain't got time for that. Right. And the reason why I believe that Biden said that he ain't got time for that is because that had real substantive things that could help black progression or minority progression in this country.
I dispute that. I dispute that.
Why don't we do this?
But he took it to Trump, and Trump said down with him, and they actually battled, hammered out.
Don't you think that's pandering? Like, let's stop right there. Hold on.
He sat down with him to get the
but Cardi B, he meet with Cardi B, and they talk about nothing.
Hold on.
At least Ice Cube was talking about something. You wouldn't agree?
Biden has real black people in his cabinet that have real backgrounds, right? That actually have advanced degrees in policy that does the things that they do. Trump had the lowest minority people in any of his cabinet position in history, right? So Biden actually has people in his cabinet.
So you rather go with Cardi B?
Support. No. That's meeting with somebody, right?
Oh,
Hold on. That's meeting with somebody. But to say that, oh, well, how come he didn't pander to this guy that has no, and I love Ice Cube. I ain't got no problem with him. But bro, stay in your lane. Just like Cardi B needs to stay in her lane, right? You don't get to speak for us because you're a rapper. Like this is not how we should be operating as a black coalition, right? We need to let rappers do rapper stuff, right? And let actual people that understand policy do that. People who have actually studied, right? It's the same nonsense of saying, hey, I'd rather listen to Joe Schmo on YouTube tell me how a disease works versus a doctor. Now, if we want to live in that world, then we can just be that ignorant, right? But for me, I'm going to listen. Now, this doctor may or may not be right, but at least that dude actually has the background to back up what he's saying, right? So, like Biden, you can knock him for some things, but he actually has black people with actual resumes in his cabinet in real jobs. So why should he listen to some guy that's rolling up who has no background in this with policy when he's already brought in people in his cabinet with policy?
Question.
Yeah, like that's nonsense, guys.
Question.
I'm sorry.
But
if Ice Cube had 2 million signatures on a document saying this is what we want, would he have gotten more traction?
That's a good question.
Now I would say this: how is he getting those 2 million signatures?
But my point is, he rolled up with nothing. With celebrity. Celebrity ain't enough to try to affect a change in policy. So Cardi B had a different purpose, rubber stamping a current policy. Different. Rubber stamping, trying to change.
Don, tell me this. Why do you believe that a lot of black folks, younger black folks, particularly a lot of black men, are defecting to the Republican Party and backing Trump?
I don't have an answer for that.
What's your thoughts about it?
Listen, number one, I think is crazy is voting against our interests. That's number two, because if you don't understand your history, okay, and understanding how to listen for dog whistles.
Or even know what a dog whistle is, right, Don? What is a dog whistle, Don? For people in the back. Come on, Don. Go.
Talk to us. What's a dog whistle?
Break it down, Don.
Okay, so let's see. War on drugs. Dog whistle. Lock up black people. Okay. When you're talking about
your boy Biden, he was big on that super predator thing. Did you consider that a dog whistle?
Republican policy by that.
No, I'm just asking. Was that? I'm confused. I'm asking. I'm just trying to understand what a dog whistle sound like, because he said black people are super predators. I mean, I'm confused as to how
that was a dog whistle.
That was a dog whistle. Okay, I just want to make sure we was on the same page.
No, we on the same page. That was
okay.
I ain't gonna deny what
was it. He's Democrat, right? He's Democrat.
I'm not saying Democrat. Look, this
I'm just trying to get a better understanding.
Listen,
What do you thought
I'm
this was all
not
about?
here to say Democrats are perfect. Let me be
we
real
need
clear,
a
right?
letter writing campaign.
I'm with Don though. What's the alternative?
We need a letter writing campaign right now from No Stingy Energy. Jasmine Crockett should be on your show. I'm just saying, and I'm serious. Y'all need to be reaching out to her right now. Okay, because she is, I believe she's a galvanizing force on the rise. And that's what we don't have. We don't have anybody that brings us together, a rallying point.
Not at
Okay,
all.
we're too fractured. We're all over the place. And when you're all over the place, you have no power. No power.
Why do y'all feel that is in the Black community? Because we don't have nobody to look to when it comes to this.
They all got killed, O'Neal. They all got killed. See, this is the lack of history, right? And Don, correct me if I'm wrong, right? All the civil rights leaders all got killed back in the day, bro.
Yeah,
they got Quintel Pro, or got put in the jail, or hey, let's put all Black men in jail, right? Like, let's come up with the war on drugs. The war on drugs was systematic, right, to put Black men in jail to break up the family. Like, this stuff happened.
It's a hazardous occupation.
This is why we ain't got leaders no more.
They got rid of that shit fast.
I want to ask Al. I feel like Al is going to be fair on this. You know, I feel like
you don't think Don? You don't think Don?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. You see, you messy boy. That guy, that fella is a messy man.
You said it. You said it.
No.
You don't have to say anything. You just have to ask the right questions.
Ask the right questions. I want to know though, because these are some powerful questions. Because I really struggle with understanding how do you affect change if the person that can make the change don't have to do anything specific before you give them everything that you got. I'm confused. How does this work in your benefit from a negotiation standpoint? That's where I'm struggling though. I'm struggling here. See? So Al, real quick question. Do you do negotiation? Matter of fact, we are in a negotiation right now.
Well, I want to tell everybody good morning. I was having audio issues. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Ooh,
go ahead.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I just had to hop on for a minute, man. I think it's quite entertaining. I had some questions myself. That's why I hopped on. But you were asking the question first, Byron. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tell me this. From a negotiation standpoint, if I know that I get 90% of your support, 90+% of your support, no matter what I do, I get 90% of your support. Is that a smart negotiation strategy? If you're trying to get anything that benefits you, is it a smart negotiation strategy to just give somebody 90% of your support before you ask for what you want?
I think votes should always be earned. My question would be, where did you get the data that shows our community gives 90% of the vote to the Democratic Party?
We've been giving the 90+% of our vote to the Democrats for decades.
Kind of high, man. You know,
90+% of our vote has been given. They can count. They listen. They don't even factor us into the equation at this point.
I mean, so I think a couple things, right? And I'll say this, man, I'm an independent thinker. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. There's things from a fiscal standpoint on the Republican or conservative side I agree with. And there's some things on the Democratic side as far as rights and DE&I and everything else that I agree with. So I want y'all to know I am completely non-biased. I'm extremely objective. So my question would be this. When it comes to fiscal policy, right, what side do you lean on? When it comes to rights, equality, access to opportunities, right? Different enrichment programs, what side are you on? I think our political system is broke. The fact that you got to pick a side and not like some variables of one side versus the other, you know, I think it's going to take a strong independent candidate to wake up our political system because nothing's really getting done. I'm not a Biden fan. I think he's underperform as president, and I'm not a Trump fan. I think he's unethical. I think he lacks character. I think that if he's voted into office with his felony record, I think that makes our company a laughingstock. Now, I'm probably saying things that people don't want to hear, but I don't like either choice. But what is the alternative, right? And so as a community, you just don't give 90% of your vote just because you give 90% of your votes. You need to look at policy. You need to look at track record, and you need to vote what you feel is going to give your community the greatest outcome. But you do need to hold different parties accountable, because if they just know you're going to give the vote, you have no leverage in what you bargain or ask for, right? Because think about it. We haven't got any reparations or anything. A lot of other communities
we never will
have,
giving nobody 90%
right?
of your vote. How?
We just got Juneteenth as a holiday, and a lot of people was praising and happy about that. So I'm not here to be.
That's a good question. That's a good question. How do you get something as bold as reparation, giving anybody 90+% of your support without asking for something? You mean to tell me you need me to pass some very controversial, beneficial, specifically to you policy, and you giving me 90% of your vote regardless? Why am I even going to entertain this? Why am I ever going to take you serious?
I could tell you, but you don't want to hear it.
Let's talk about it.
You don't want to hear it.
I want to hear it.
Mister, you don't want to hear it.
If you want to hear it, generational trauma. Generational trauma. I grew up in the 50s. Okay? 1950, less than 100 years away from the end of slavery. And that generational trauma keeps us fractured. It takes time to heal that. And we've got to get together and say, listen, it's to heal that so that we can come together. It is ingrained. It is taught. We were compelled not to get together. If Black people start getting together, you beat them, you kill them. Generational trauma is still keeping us apart. And then we have to face that trauma. We have to face the history, look at what happened, so that once we understand what happened and what keeps us apart, that's when we can start coming together. Right now, we don't know what keeps us apart because we don't understand the trauma.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, we still have consequences to our lack thereof, whatever it is, for whatever reason. There's still consequences as a result of us not having a collective strategy as to how to get more out of the deal. My thing is, how do we negotiate better terms giving somebody 90+% of our vote? I don't get it.
Well, see, Byron, here's the deal, which I understand your premise, right? Like, your premise is sound, right? But here's the problem. What are we actually saying? What are we agreeing on, right? Because that's kind of what I'm saying, right? So we don't have a national policy.
I feel like
right?
a side chick right now, Najee. I feel like the side chick that's getting taken advantage of and taken for granted and never gonna get the ring, never gonna get that's how I feel like when Black folks give somebody 90%.
That's kind of what I'm saying, though.
The ring looks like this. The ring looks like this.
Define a ring, right?
The ring is. I can tell you what the ring is. The ring looks like maybe some reparations to some degree. The ring looks like maybe some economic opportunities in our neighborhoods. That's what the ring look like. The ring looks like not 90+% of us maybe voting for one particular candidate, and we splitting it up and saying, no, you got to fight for what you got to fight for.
The last part is not a ring, right? But the first two are, right? So saying, hey, if you want reparations, that's a definition of a ring, right? If you want economic empowerment, that's a definition of a ring. If you want equal rights, that's a definition of a ring, right? These are things. But if we can't agree to what the ring looks like, here's the rub. When we can't agree to what the ring looks like, then when the ring comes, nobody ever notices. See, for some people, come on now, for some people, a ring was getting a Black president. For some people, not all, I'm just saying, for some people. And so you'll have white folks say, look, we gave you the damn ring now, and then Black people say we're not happy with that ring. right? And then some people would say, hey, well, how about let's reduce the Black unemployment rate? But not all Black people care about that, but some people do. Well, they did that. The Black unemployment is the lowest in history under Biden, but we don't recognize that because we didn't get reparations, right? Because that's somebody else's ring. So without having a national platform, right, to defining what those rings look like, it's hard to recognize it when it occurs, right? Biden also put $1 billion out there, right? A lot of that's going to Black communities, into minority programs. We don't recognize that because we don't see that, because that wasn't a ring for all Black people, right? So there's a lot of rings out there, and some of these rings are happening, right? But we don't recognize it because it may not be Byron's ring or O'Neill's ring, but or Onaje's ring, because we actually, it's only 7 of us up here right now, and like I said, we wouldn't even rank the top 7 things together. We couldn't even agree on what those 7 things are. Like if we say, hey, what are the top 5 things? I guarantee you, we would have a number 1 would be different among everybody here, and that's a problem, right? Because when things do occur, right, and they have occurred, we can't recognize it. You invalidate Biden's economic policy or the unemployment rate of Black people in America because that may not mean nothing to you, right? That you don't give credit for that, but that's actually a fact, right? We don't give credit for that. Right? We don't give credit for, like a lot of white people say, well, you got a Black president. Oh, well, he wasn't my president. I don't like that dude. Okay. Well, we got a Black female vice president. Oh, well, she's not Black enough for me. I don't really get down with that. Right? Like, I mean, it's just this is what people say, right? Like, you know, yeah, people say this. And I'm just talking about the idea of it, right? If we can't agree on what that unity is, then it's tough. Then it's real tough.
Yeah.
Hey, Anaji, let me ask you a question, and I hope the women don't come after me. Please, I'm just asking a question. How would you evaluate Kamala Harris' performance as, as the VP?
Man, that's a fantastic question.
You see how I threw it off on him? How would you evaluate?
Well, he coming for it. He coming for it.
I ain't coming for it. I'm just asking, how would you
evaluate? No.
I had this. Hold on. How would you evaluate it, and what resources would you look at to say, hey, this is what she's actually done? Because, my deal, I'm happy she got in that position, but I'm trying to I need help validating her performance in the chair. Right now, I wouldn't give her a passing grade, but I also want to be objective in saying, if you feel differently, what resources can you point me and others to say, hey, this is what she done. It just hadn't been in the media, right?
So it's funny. I had the same conversation literally last night in the group chat, and I probably sided with you.
Okay. So I'm just saying.
They say she's been over there asleep.
So
with Joe.
I don't think she's been as visible as she need to be. I do think she serves a good role in the purpose. Specifically, if you want to name one thing in particular that I think she's driving that will have a positive impact on Black people, but again, we don't agree on shit, right? But taking marijuana off of Schedule 1 is going to be huge for our community. It's going to take a lot of Black men out of jail, right? But again, that may not matter to everybody Black, right? I personally believe Black men being in jail has a direct correlation with the plight of our country, personally. Right? That's something I personally believe. If less Black men was in jail, then I think Black community, Black families would be better off. And she's leading on that, right? That's a fact. That's an actual fact. By the time marijuana will be off of Schedule 1 by the time in the next couple months before this term is out. That's an actual fact, right? And marijuana charges are one of the top charges on why Black men are in jail. So for me, that correlation is clear, and I think she's clearly leading on that. Right. But all in all, if you was to ask me how I would rate her, it would get a meh. Like I'm kind of in line with you. Like I'm not necessarily enthused.
Well, what grade is meh?
But here's the deal. But no vice president. What vice president is killing it?
She got a flat C.
Yeah, she's a C. I go with a C. That's solid.
She got a flat C with me.
I'm not a Democratic apologist, right? She's a C. Like, and I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give an honest assessment, right? That honest assessment is that I think she is actually leading on a policy that will help Black people. I'm gonna give her credit for that. But if you talk about visibility and overall what she's doing, man, it's probably a C. But
my follow-up question to that. Hold on 1 second on this.
But what vice president has been an A though? What vice president has been
there
an
you
A
go.
though?
That's the question.
Because that's not the role.
None of them.
Thank you, Don. Pass that mic to Don.
I think Joe Biden was a better vice president than he was president.
I agree.
Personally.
I agree.
I think Joe Biden was a hell of a vice president.
He was a cheerleader as vice president, bro. He did nothing but cheerlead.
Because I disagree with that.
That dude was a cheerleader, bro.
Here's my second question. Did she do that for our community or did she do that for industry?
Ooh.
All right, now.
Two things can be true at the same time, Al.
That's true.
Oh, like that's unfair. Come on, you're more nuanced than that. Two things can be true at the same time.
And that's
actually smart policy.
I'm not coming forward, right? I'm just asking questions.
No, these are good questions. I don't disagree with you on that.
Inclined like a Najee. A Najee can help people on campaigns and all that stuff. That ain't my wheelhouse, right? I just make money. It don't matter who's in office. However,
thank you.
I think it's really important to become more politically inclined with the current environment that we're in, especially as a community. All right. So this is me asking questions for my education. I'm not going to act like I'm a political strategist, and I don't. And that's why I actually look up to Najee on that, because I know he's very, very in tune with politics. We might have some disagreements on fundamentals and policy, but that's just everyone's going to have that, right? But so these are me asking questions, specifically to find resources to become more educated, right? Because I'm not looking up policy like that, right? And I think having resources to know where to go would help people be more educated with their vote versus just giving it away.
I like that. So, Najee, would you like to see Kamala Harris again as vice president?
Oh.
No. No. I mean, if you ask my honest opinion, see, again, I'm okay with understanding that, right? If you ask my honest opinion, people think I'm crazy. For me, the future of this party is Gavin Newsom. That's who the future of the Democratic Party should be, right? For me, I would love a scenario of Biden being pushed aside for Gavin Newsom. That I would love that scenario. I would love that scenario, right? And do I care?
You mean, hold on, wait a minute. You mean Gavin Newsom? You talking about the guy from California?
You mean the largest economy in this country? The top 5?
You mean one of the most felon states in the?
Look, people from crap hole states don't get to call the biggest economy, the top 5 economy in the world, a failing economy. Like, this is nonsense, bro. Like, just that narrative that count. Just because a bunch of failing Republicans from podunk states, and I'm gonna call it podunk states, okay, with podunk cities, just because they get Marjorie Taylor Greene get to call California just because she's from her rural town that don't have no people. Like, he's a real governor. Right, in a real state. Do they state has problems? Yeah. Do they pray? But guess what? That's what happens when you're a top 5 economy, right? When you're the #1 economy in this country, right? This country doesn't grow nowhere without California or New York, for that matter, right?
And or Texas is on their heels. Texas is on their heels.
Yeah, but it ain't nowhere near close though. Just so we're clear.
Here's the thing about Gavin Newsom though. Here's the issue with Gavin Newsom. Number one, a lot of people would argue that California is ran like almost third world level degree at this point in terms of their homelessness is out of control. People are leaving that city. The only thing that's keeping that state alive is how beautiful it is, and a lot of people believe that it is horribly run. You can't get anything done that is substantive in that country, in that state, in terms of building new things. Property values are extremely high. The wages are extremely high. There's massive disparities in terms of wealth gaps in California. Right? You either dirt poor and homeless, or you're making a shit ton of money because they the minimum wage is continuously increasing and putting small businesses out of business. How can Gavin Newsom, be considered like a viable option for the United States of America? These people are operating in insanity.
I'm saying the people that's criticizing California are from Louisiana, are from Mississippi, are from Alabama. Like, these are the worst
bottom of the barrel
in the country, bro.
But here's
this whole idea that I get to be from Mississippi which has the worst economics and the worst economics for black folks in this country, like, well, this is our alternative. That's the problem with this whole, oh, I get to knock the guys that's on top. Like, yes, the guy on top ain't gonna be perfect. New York ain't perfect. And keeping it real, I wouldn't own property in New York or California, to be frank. Right? Like,
California is a treasure to this country because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful state. It has nothing to
you're
do
not, hold
with the
on. You're
politics.
discounting the economics of it too, though, bro. Like, you can't say the economy is built on whatever. Like, that would be a devoid of fact. This is the #1 economy in our country. Period. So let's not act like the tech industry isn't there. Like let's not act like they don't
But that's
contribute to our
talent.
economy, bro.
That's talent. That's talent. That's a lot of good talent. And I wouldn't attribute that all the way
Why
to
do you have
just
that talent, Byron?
California
Why do you have that
citizens.
talent?
That is a
Why
lot
do you
of
have that talent?
immigrants. That's a lot of immigrant talent that's there.
It's not just
Most of
immigrant
those
talent.
tech, but here's the thing. A lot of those tech industries are run by Asians. Let's keep it real.
No, hold on.
Asians are propping up the bulk of what's going on in a lot of those tech hubs, right? Whether it be Indian Asians or
let's call them. Hold on, they're American. First of all, they're American citizens. Let's be clear, right? Okay, so for me, the environment, because I have this conversation with silly ass Republicans all the time, right? And I call them silly because these places, they come from South Carolina, they come from Iowa, they come from like
Louisiana.
There's 50, the bottom 15 states.
Look,
none of them are blue, bro. No, keeping it real. None of the bottom, the worst economic states are all red. Let's 100%. 100%. I want y'all to name. Can you name one city that ranks in the top 15 economically that's red? You can't. They don't exist. I'll let the chat figure that out. I want the chat to name one city that's a red city that's in the top 15. Go. Right? And I'm not railing on Alabama or whatever. I'm not hating on these places. I'm hating on the economic condition of black folks in these places. Absolutely. Right? So I don't want to copy the policies that subjugate black folks. That's the policies of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. I love Louisiana, right? But I don't want to copy these policies because it hurts us. Right?
Yeah,
so it's easy.
Texas is definitely up there. Texas is actually ahead of California to be.
Hold on. I said name the
You're
city.
looking at
Texas
GDP growth, Byron. As far as economies, California has the largest at, I think, 3.56 billion. And then Texas is second at 2.6 billion.
A far second. Is that not a far second? Just scale wise?
But spending and it's not.
You said GDP. That's not spending, Byron.
Question.
Here's what I'm saying. I probably the next. Now you're an economist by trade, Najee. In the next 15 years, will California still have the highest economy? I think Texas is going to surpass it.
Nah,
right? I think there'll be more tech companies in Texas, right?
Well, the tech companies are already leaving. Here's the problem with that, Al, and I agree with you. The trend looks accurate, right? But the problem is, and here's the ultimate issue with California versus Texas, you have to foster an environment where smart people want to be at.
That's
right.
True.
And the problem with Texas, especially with our educational platform, you telling me smart people want to be a part of this educational system that Abbott's putting in place? They don't.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going.
That's hurting us. I would agree that the educational policy is definitely hurting the state, and time will tell. You're going to run talent out of the state, right? We can give them tax incentives and things of that nature, but if talent don't want to live here, that's going to be an issue. And I kind of agree with you on that. My daughter personally is not going to college in Texas because of those policies. She got into A&M. She could have went to UT.
My son ain't going.
I just don't like the. I don't like the education.
My son don't want to go
I don't
UT.
like the lack of resources that's being taken from Black and brown people.
Yeah.
And so we're going to states that actually offer that
diversity and inclusion. If you take a look at Texas versus California or any other state that's more inclusive, what's your general view or take on immigrants in California, and then versus your view or feeling about immigrants in Texas who get bussed out?
You asking me that, Don?
No, I'm just saying in particular, I'm talking about the view of Greg Abbott versus the governor of California in their view of immigration.
And that's a great point because but see, you have to value like Byron said, hey, the Asians are driving the tech jobs. Well, don't drive the Asians away, right? If they're doing good in a certain area of the economy, if we all can agree that when all of us are lifted up, we all do better. See, it starts with that, right? We have to agree that, you know what, if tech jobs are good, then that helps the whole economy. So what if that may be dominated by Asians if it all is helping us, right? And you have to foster an environment for that talent, to Al's point, right? And if we start to backslide on that, right, then we lose, right? So there's a reason why New York and Cali rank where they're at, because they foster environments where people want to live, right? It's easy to say, well, and again, I'm a Texan guy. I love Texas, right? Like I really do. But to be clear, how much of Texas economy is driven by the 4 liberal cities? Anybody know that stat? I do. Right. So it's when people say, oh, I do. And that's what I'm saying. When people say, well, Texas is a red state and we should copy Texas. No, you should copy the 4 large cities in Texas that's driving the Texas economy, right? By close to 70%, around 68 to 69%. The 4 big cities. So when we talk about Texas, right, you're really talking about Houston, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio. Are those red places? No, they're not.
They're purple,
right? In Houston, no, they're not even purple, Don. Let's be real clear. They ain't close to purple.
They're blue.
Like, they're not close to purple at all.
Really?
They're 1,000%. Like, hold on, yeah. The only city that might be close to purple is San Antonio, but Houston's clearly blue. Dallas is clearly blue. Austin's clearly blue, right? And I'm talking.
I don't know the last time Houston has had a Republican mayor.
40 years.
I don't know the last time Dallas has had a Republican mayor. I mean, I don't know.
You're talking 40, 50 years.
Austin, I don't know. Austin, I don't know.
Austin's more liberal than both.
Yeah, that's super liberal.
When you're recruiting talent from all over the country to come to your spot. That's what happens. That's what happens.
And that talent has to want to come here. And when you're smart and when you're talented, and Al, help me out with this. When you're talented and you're smart and you can drive economics, you get to choose things beyond money, right? You get to say, I don't want to be around a bunch of racist rednecks. You get to kind of say that, right? Like when you're an engineer or you're a doctor or whatever you are, right? And you're a tech guru or whatever, you get to kind of dictate to say, you know what? I'm not living in a place that got a bunch of swastikas on my yard. Like, I'm just not doing that. That's cool. I'm not going to do it. Right. They get to go somewhere else. Right.
Wait a minute. We're a little extreme, but I get what you're saying.
Hey, Byron, quick fact check. I gave wrong info. I want to correct it. Cali has 3.86 trillion and Texas has 2.6 trillion as far as their GDP. So they're 3.8 trillion and 2.5.
I wonder how much of a deficit they running that 3 point some trillion at though. That's what I would love to know. What that deficit spending look like over there?
Texas had 5.7% growth, which is second in the country last year.
Absolutely.
Let me see what Cali is. Hold on.
Yeah, they operate at a super deficit.
Kind of down.
They're ruining that country over there. Hey, Darby,
bro, it might be 0.5%, bro. You ain't talking about no double. You ain't talking about no double digits.
They running that thing at a super deficit.
Hold on. Hold on. That's called cap, right? Like that's called like that's called just throwing stuff out there.
They can't afford their lifestyle. They can't afford their minimum wage bill. I'm just saying the companies are struggling and leaving. It's a struggle out there in California. They got more homeless people.
If it was a struggle, we still ain't seen it though. That's what I'm saying. Like let's not. Al just quoted the stat, right? We're talking about $1 trillion difference gap. That's not small at all. Most states in this country don't do $1 trillion, right? Like most states ain't $1 trillion in GDP. Okay. Not most. I'm talking like 90% of the states ain't doing $1 trillion, right? So this whole narrative that California is losing to Texas, they're not, right? Like not when I got $1 trillion head start on you. We talking about 20, 30 years here.
But my thing is how they managing the trillion. You got to understand, California has a lot of good things going for the state in general. Weather, access, networking abilities. They have some of the smartest minds. Right, some of the smartest minds in terms of talent in that particular state, and they got the resources. But I want to pivot to Darby real quick. Darby, you with us right now?
Yeah, my phone overheated again for a second.
Before you hit that, Byron, let's get to commercial.
Yeah, let's do that.
Then I got a question after that.
Let's do it.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show. Make sure before you leave, you go on nostingyenergy.com. Grab yourself some gear, man. No Stingy Energy gear is quality material, good material. It's not the hard cotton material. It's a quality material. And make sure you get your jogging sets. You can get your hoodie, a t-shirt. Just grab you something, man. nostingyenergy.com. Let's get back to the episode.
Absolutely. Darby, what do you think it means to you that a lot of black men and young black voters are trending more conservative in their voting strategies? What's your thoughts on that?
All right. So one of my friends that I grew up with since middle school, he's a Trump supporter, but that's my dog, right? And I've seen the trend that people are only, I think, being more quote unquote conservative or voting Republican these days because they just start getting money. So now they got concerned of, oh, I don't want to pay too much taxes on my money. You know, it's the popular thing. It's a trend because they doing it. Huh?
It's a good fact.
And you gotta be honest though, you know, like when quote unquote we was getting them stimulus checks and so on and so forth, you know, it was stabilizing black people as far as the frivolous money that they can spend, so they felt more liberated, right? But in the backspin of it though, let's keep it a bean. When Trump was going on his campaign, like black people weren't safe. Black people weren't safe. And I'm on Al's team as far as if you really have an entrepreneur mindset, you're gonna get money in any economy. People got rich during the Bush administration. People got rich during the Clinton administration. People got rich during the Obama administration. It's like we just now know the game. So now we like, oh man, if I ain't got to pay too much taxes on my real estate money, my scamming money, or whatever type of money I get in, you know what I mean? I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna vote for him, you know, because let's keep it a bean. Back in the day, we used to rap about Trump. Trump used to be in the raps about, you know, about being a billionaire and so on and so forth. But the thing is, it's trendy because people have money now, right? And it's not because of Trump. They just became smarter and wiser and have access to more information. Now, on the flip side, I'm not big on Biden either. You know what I mean? And I'm not big on Democrats. I'm neither or. I'm an independent. The only reason why is because Republicans, they ain't for us. Let's keep it to me. I don't care about our history. Oh, black people were Republicans, so on and so. That's washed. That's washed. Although we could get back to that and structure it to where it benefits us wholeheartedly, but it's not going to get back to that. Now, the Democrats, they a bunch of punks, man. They ain't putting it on the table like they should. They ain't beating the media up like they should. They ain't as bravado as they should. And I think because of that, we're not looking at them as a team that we'll necessarily want to be a part of. And Republicans they've been bullying all day. They've been bullying since day one. They've been putting immigrants at Kamala Harris's front porch. You know what I mean? Like on her neighborhood and her yard. They just dropping them off. Like that's bold, and we didn't retaliate. We're not retaliating and so on and so forth. But then they want to talk up when we got the debates and so on and so forth going on. That's what pisses me off most about Democrats. They don't put it on the table about what they've done and what they're going to do. And they're not. They ain't bullying the media like the Republicans do. So, like, I wouldn't vote for Trump, and I'm not voting for Trump. Only one main reason is because he empowered people who think that they're more inferior than us. You know, you got people that, you know, and no not to people who are living these type of ways, but like that are living below poverty line, but living below, I guess, our state of financial being, that they think they're better than black people.
But I mean, what does that have to do with your ability to achieve, to grow, to make money? I mean, what does somebody in Podunk, wherever the fuck on the planet, Podunk, wherever the fuck on the planet, and his thought process, hold on. His thought process, what does that have to do with your ability to make moves for you? That's my question.
So I want to be able to, and this is my point that I want to drive home. And this is why I say we didn't feel safe. So I live in North Carolina, Charlotte specifically. But if you drive 30 minutes outside of Charlotte, you're going to run into trailer park neighborhoods with big Confederate flags. You'll see some swastikas and so on and so forth. The don't tread on my whatever, that little snake flag, whatever stupid it is. Those people feel like they are more superior than Black people. And what I mean by that is that they can kill me and get away with it 9 times 10 as the vice versa. So granted, if I am being successful and taking care of my family as I should, that could all go away and be washed under the rug, under the gun or the rights of somebody who feels more inferior than and more superior than Black people.
When was the last time that's happened?
Actually, more surprisingly, is like as far as the killing part, hasn't happened. I haven't seen that necessarily in Charlotte, but the way these people talk, I talk to these people all day, every day. Just a couple of days ago. Just a couple of days ago. And then I'm gonna leave with this real quick, Don. I don't know if y'all read the story of the girl in who was trying to buy a condo in Virginia. Have y'all heard about that? Where it was a young Black scientist.
Yep.
And yeah.
Break it down, Darby.
Huh?
Break it down. I know it. I know the story. Break it down.
Okay, let's keep it a bean. She's a scientist. She got plenty of money. 30 years old, wanted to buy a condo in Virginia. Signed it, offer accepted, down payment made, secured the bag, right? Once the seller found out that she was Black, the seller wanted to pull out. It's an 84-year-old white woman.
What city was this?
I forget what city it was, but it was on the beach somewhere.
Came out. Yeah,
it was on the beach somewhere. Now, you talk about the Fair Housing Act, right? We're still battling that shit today.
Facts.
So my thing is that we're still voting against people who are 84 years old who still live in that goddamn mindset from 60, 70, 80 years ago.
Yeah, but she 80 years old, bro. Ain't nothing changing her, man. We just gotta let her go on to Jesus.
But we still vote with people who live in that area.
Well, wherever she going. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think an 80-year-old.
The fair and housing.
She's stuck in that 80-year-old.
Yeah, she's stuck, bro.
But that's my point, though. We're still in cahoots and voting for people that live in that area. Joe Biden, Trump.
Yeah, but she 4 seconds from Jesus, man. We got.
And Trump 2 hamburgers away from a heart attack.
Both of our presidents the same age. They the same age.
Trump and Biden the same age?
79 and 80?
Yeah.
They're both the same age. They 1 year
Come on, dog. So listen, man,
they 1 year apart.
If we want to talk about policy like Onaje, the policy that needs to be changed is the people who are in office that they should be able to sit past 8 years, just like the president.
Well, I got a question. Does politics in general want to see Black people apart?
What? What'd you just say?
Does politics in general want to see Black people apart? So I'm feeling like this. So let's just say, at the end of the day, what party would actually support Black people in general?
Listen. When you
the Black Panther Party.
When it comes to that, any time in history, just pick up a book. Any time in history where Black people started to galvanize,
they tear that shit up.
Okay, exactly.
Why do y'all feel that is though? Why is it? Why?
Because
Black people. Why we have to stay separate?
Because if we don't, it scares people.
Yeah, they want to prevent us from being, I guess, if look at it like this here. Look at the conflict, not to get, too crazy, because I don't want to even get the dang on show shut down. But look at the conflict that's taking place in Israel and Palestine, right?
Bruh.
I think, here's the thing, Black folks organizing in this country has always been a massive fear because a lot of people feared that, we would gain a certain level of power in this country and then we would retaliate for America's past sins against us for all them years. If we gain power, and that's the reason why, a lot of people think that segregation, right, was ended A lot of people think that segregation was ended because of race. You know what I'm saying? Like, and them, I think segregation was ended for national security interests. I personally believe this because they knew what was happening around the country, bro. They try to paint black folks in a lot of negative ways, but we were building solid, functional, successful communities all throughout this country. Matter of fact, I would argue that some of the most successful blacks came fresh out of slavery. Listen to me. Built beautiful, nice, successful communities all across this country. And those communities were systematically destroyed in a lot of ways because of fear of us gaining, political, maybe military strongholds, maybe financial strongholds in this country, and to be able to purchase and buy influence on par with a lot of whites. You got to understand.
It wasn't on par. It was better.
It was better because we had the skills. You got to understand.
Who destroyed it though, Byron?
Black folk coming out of slavery were carpenters. They knew how to do the work.
But who destroyed it?
Who destroyed it though, Byron?
Destroyed it.
White who?
White racists destroyed it.
Conservatives.
No, they weren't conservatives. No, they weren't conservatives. I ain't gonna let you do that.
They were.
I'm not gonna let you do no, that's not true.
They are aligned with a particular group of people.
No. Here's the thing. Hold on, wait. We're not gonna do that. Let me tell you why we're not gonna do that. Let me tell you why hold on one second. We're not gonna do that because conservative values, grandma got conservative values. Conservative values. Listen to me. And hold on. Conservative values and racist values are not the same. So we're not even going to put those in the same bucket. Just because I have conservative values on something has nothing. I can be conservative about my money. I can be conservative about my family values. Hold on. Wait. No, we're not finna conflate because that's intellectually dishonest.
White Christian nationalists in this country. That's what they do. Is that fair?
No.
White Christian
I think racist, evil people destroy people with no provocation, no reason.
They just so happen to get down with one party, though.
No. Because you got and honestly, a lot of those people was Democrats back then, though. Anaje, if we want to just play the word semantics,
I know the history.
Those people were Democrats. Those weren't Republicans. So let you know,
a lot of Democrats was part of the KKK. But that's why
the Democrat Party was full of racists. So let's not. But here's the thing. I don't even want to play into that. Because I'm not even finna let conservative values and racist people share because they separate. A racist that wants to kill and destroy people who are doing something to better themselves is evil on every. No matter what you are. I don't care if you a liberal, conservative.
What party do you typically align with, though, Byron?
Who that?
Come on, man.
Here's the thing, though. I can't say that because you got to understand, Margaret Sanger.
You can't say that.
A lot of people would consider her liberal. Hold on, listen. And how many Planned Parenthoods do she like to put in black neighbors? She wanted to send us extinct. Najee, she was a liberal.
2024.
Hold on, no. What I'm saying is, evil people are evil people.
Is Trump a conservative?
Listen, I think
Trump a conservative.
I can't speak to who he is.
Is he a Republican? Is he even a Republican?
He's a Republican.
No, he's not.
I can't speak to that.
He's a Republican in name only. He went to the Republican Party because he knew he could get elected. He doesn't care about Republicans. He doesn't care about conservatives. It's a label.
It's a strategic play.
It's a label that I wear to get things done. And listen, when it comes to politics, things just get ugly when it comes to politics because now, and who's talking about? Yeah, we have to win. We have to end the war in Gaza. And who is saying we need to shut down the border? Who's saying it now? Okay, why? Because it's getting close to the election. I'm just saying that politics is ugly.
It's ugly. Yeah, because Biden was running around calling people super predators. He was calling our kids super predators. He said, yeah, man, we need to.
For a hot second too. Don't forget, Trump was claiming Democrat for a hot second too.
Yeah. But we got the God in the building. The God, what's going on, my guy?
Peace, y'all. What's good? What's good, man? Great conversation.
What's your thoughts on this conversation, man?
Man, y'all had me banging in the chat on the way to work, man. I had to commute today. I was like, damn, once I get off of this damn train, I'm going in.
Come on.
What's your thoughts on all of this, man?
Listen, man. I mean, listen, man, we got reasons to be dissatisfied in both of these parties, right? First of all, our communities aren't getting any better, right? Schools are not getting any better. People are not getting enough bang for their buck. Home ownership is low, right? Our kids are not getting jobs that are basically suitable for living, right? It's a whole bunch of issues that we need to address. And these candidates are not speaking to that. So basically, I say all politics is local. Right now, just over the last year, I seen from the original village that I come from, I seen them take over the entire board of trustees and put a new mayor in place that's a person of color, black person, should I say. All politics is local. A lot of these local elections could be swayed with just 100 votes. That's what we need to get involved in. They want to put these old men in the office of the land. Well, let them do it. But you control your local electorate. On top of that, if they put a person in the presidency who has just been convicted of 34 counts as a felony, we're going to be the laughing stock of the world. We're going to be a laughing stock of the world, man. So I think people need to think about that and just think about how we looking on the world stage, but control what you can control. Get involved with your school board, get involved with the city council, get involved with everything that's local, that's dealing with politics, so you can control what's going on in your area. And that's how I see that. Peace.
Hey, he hit the nail on the head. He hit the nail on the head because guess what? If he end up getting in office and people are still voting for him, everybody who voted for him are hypocrites. And the reason why I say they're hypocrites is because as soon as they did Hillary Clinton's emails and so on and so forth, guess what? He put it out in his campaign. Oh, if we have a convicted felon or somebody who's facing charges in office, nigga, you got convicted on 34 counts. 34 of them.
He did.
That's a lot.
34 of them. And then everybody lock her up. Lock her up. They still chanting to this day. But guess what? They ain't saying a goddamn thing.
Yeah, well, politics is ugly. Is ugly work.
But see, now the spin doctors. Now the spin doctors come out, and all they're talking about is the judge. They're talking about the prosecutor, but they're not talking about 12 citizens that came together and said guilty. They're not talking about them.
And none of those citizens. And none of those citizens weren't even native New Yorkers because Trump didn't want native New Yorkers on a jury. So they had the ability to toss out those jurors, which they did. See, again, they don't want to get into the details. They talk about it wasn't a fair trial, but his legal team did a hell of a job of tossing out jurors that they didn't want, right? But one thing Darby said earlier, he said a while ago, and I think it was super important to go back to Byron's original question. He talked about Democrats kind of being punks or whatnot and not really doing stuff with their chest. He did. He kind of hinted that. I'm paraphrasing. I actually think he's 1,000% right on this. I think when you talk about why a lot of black people, particularly black men, why they may be swayed towards the Republican Party, the Republicans do stuff with their chest. I disagree with a lot of them, right? But I can give them credit for that, right? Whatever they gonna stand on business or what they talking about, whether you disagree with them or not. I disagree with most of the stuff they own, but they stand on business with it, right? And I think as black men, frankly, we kind of appeal to that, right? Like, we don't want to see nobody doing nothing like no punk move, right? If you're going to do something, like, sing your praises, say it with your chest, give yourself some credit. And Biden and Harris have done a really poor job of that, right? Like, again, I'm not here to be an apologist. I'm just here to see what they are. And that was a point that I think Darby hit on, that really, if you really want to get to the answer to your question, that's a big one, right? Particularly black men, right? We got a lot of testosterone as black men, right? You know, we can argue about, you know, we big on that, right? And I think there's a certain level where it's hard for us to kind of respect dudes that's not really doing it with their chest, so to speak. That's gonna sway us a lot. And I think that's a big issue with the Democratic Party, particularly Biden. Particularly, they've just done a really good job of saying, "Hey, this is my policy. This is what we did. Give me some credit." Whereas Republicans, particularly Trump gonna be like, "Man, I did this and I did that, and half of that mess is false. He lying about right. That dude every other word he come out is lying, but he at least saying it. He at least coming out there saying what saying what he's saying with his chest. So I wanted to point that out because I think that's a hidden thing that not a lot of us talk about, but that's something I talk about in our private groups as well. And I think he's spot on.
Well, the question is, I got a poll, right? For I would love to get you guys' take on. Let me put the poll in here real quick. Let's see if we can get this one up.
Can I ask a quick question while you're doing that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What was Trump's legacy that he was trying to leave behind?
His legacy?
Yeah,
It's a great question.
The COVID shot.
I think Trump wants to leave me personally, I think Trump wants to leave his ego as his legacy. I think that's what's most important to him. Yeah.
As far as my remnants of just being cognitive of the political party, Bush left the No Child Left Behind, right? Obama left Obamacare. Biden is trying to leave student loan relief. What was Trump leading with?
What did he leave us with?
I think he's leaving us with
his
ego in order he could do it.
Abortion rights.
Oh yeah, he canceled abortion. He canceled abortion,
that's true.
And he swayed to the Supreme Court.
Yep, stacking the court.
Because big though.
See, listen.
Nothing was beneficial,
and that's key. That's key. When you stack those lower courts, when the majority start to lose power because of Black and brown voters becoming more prevalent in their state, you can still get things done through the judiciary.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're stacking those lower courts.
And just to talk about these courts, right? And we can agree or disagree on some things, but Darby mentioned earlier about that sister getting violated with fair and housing. We had a fair and housing violation here in Houston where a Black to buy an investment property for some Asians, and they basically said, "We're not selling to you because you're Black." Now, over the last 60 years of American history, that was illegal. That was illegal. But a Texas stacked court, the Texas Supreme Court, said that was okay. That was a clear violation of fair and housing, and a Texas Supreme Court ruled that it was okay to discriminate on investment property.
You know why they said that,
but
right?
we've all in real most. Yeah, but because they stacked court, they said, "Hey, you know what? Bump it. We gonna do it." Like at the end of the day, there's this law that's been on the books for 60 years. Fuck that law because we don't care about you Black niggas. Like at the end of the day,
it was swept under the rug because they said it wasn't residential. That was the kicker.
What?
And that's what pissed me off because it's like whether it's resident. That's why I said fair housing. So they stuck on the housing part. They was like them Black people ain't living in that commercial spot. So that's why they got it to go. That's why they got it to fly because it wouldn't have passed feds. It wouldn't have passed the Supreme Court. Had that little saying or not saying would have been in there.
Right, and that's the impact on having a stacked court system the way it is. So again, we keep talking about like we see the results of voting for the red team get you. They get you these type of judges that will do anything to put us to keep their foot on our neck at the end of the day, right? And that's a clear violation. It passed at the federal. It's a clear federal anti-deal, and that couple probably ain't got no more money to go continue to sue. Right? Sue for what? Right? They ain't got no money, but it was already a lot of money to get to that point to the Texas Supreme Court. Right? And this sister up in, I think it's in Virginia, she, I don't know, that's another clear violation. Right? But does she have the wherewithal to sue? And for what? Right? Because that stuff gets tiring. That's the issue, guys. That stuff gets tiring to continue to sue for basic rights that are already on the books. Can we please enforce the basic rights? Right? Like, can we please enforce our voting rights and not do gerrymandering, not packing districts, right? This is the issue, right? And so it sounds great to say, hey, let's negotiate from a better position. In premise, Byron, I agree with what you're saying. It makes sense in premise. It don't when the other side ain't trying to give you nothing, though. That's the problem, right? We know what they're trying to
see.
give.
That's where I disagree.
Hold on. But you're seeing the results of what they're giving us right now. That's the problem.
Let me explain, because
you're not.
no.
Tell me the policy that we're benefiting from. Tell me
No, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to give nobody nothing. Let's just start there. We know for a fact that Joe Biden ain't trying to really give black folks specifically nothing. We know this.
No, we don't.
Right?
We don't know that.
And if you bring it
That's
up,
a false statement.
okay, if you bring it up, he's gonna get to telling you. No, listen, Joe Biden is trying to give the LGBT community. He's trying to make sure that they feel 100% supported and contributed to. Right. In terms of black folks, I have not heard too many Democrats speak to anything specific to us,
who has more
beneficial to us. I haven't heard anything.
Who has more student loans? What group of people have more student loans?
That's a good question. You tell me.
This is the problem.
What is
It's
it? Is it white?
bro. It's like I'm saying we have a higher percentage of student loans than any other group. Black people that go to college have a higher percentage of student loans than white people that go to college. Right. See, this is the problem with black people, right? We that's why I keep saying we get our cookies, but you don't want to validate the cookie. Right. You're like, oh, no,
I want to validate the cookie. Right. I want to validate the cookie.
No.
My question.
Hold on. You just said that Joe Biden. Hold on. You just said that Joe Biden's not doing that for black folks, right? That's what you just said, right? But we have the lowest unemployment in history under Joe Biden, but he ain't doing nothing for black folks. To your point, right? So you don't want to give him the cookie. That's why I said earlier, if we don't agree on what the ring is, right? Well, you said we're a chick that ain't about to get the ring, right?
But,
and I understand that. That's
let me explain my overall point. That way to make it better.
Recognize the ring.
Let me explain my overall point. My point is this. Okay, great. That's a great thing. But my point is this.
I'm saying getting rid of the student loans helps a lot of black people, but you don't want to get that credit though.
But has he done it though?
He has done a lot of student. There's millions. Hold on, there's over 20 million people that got their student loans rescinded. But
he's still a lot more to go. It's still a lot more to go. But that's not my point.
Nobody's ever happy. This is the problem.
Here's my point.
I would say it's a good start.
Yeah. But here's my point. My point is, I don't feel like we've come to the table negotiating things that will directly benefit us specifically. That's my issue. And the reason I feel like we're going to struggle with that and going to always struggle with it is because we are monolithic in the way that we vote. I think that's a problematic approach. Me personally, I believe if you give somebody everything and they know that they guaranteed to get it for you, why do I need to bend over backwards to make something happen for you? I think it's a flawed.
Black home ownership is good. Do you think black home ownership is good?
Absolutely.
Quick question. Okay. Who is more likely to be able to buy a home? Like, what does that avatar look like for a black
somebody person? Right now, based on the current stats, you need to be making a hell of a lot of money. You definitely need to be making six figures in most areas of the country to afford one.
Statistically, people that go to college.
He set you up on that one.
I'm setting them up. Statistically, people that go to college are more likely to buy homes. That's a fact. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
People who go to college make over $1.3 million more than people that don't go to college, right? And if black people are settled, yes, they are. And if black people are saddled with student loan debt, hold on. If black people are saddled with student loan debt, their ability to buy homes is increased. It's massive. And the fact of the matter is, black people have more black college graduates have more student loan debt than white college graduates. That's why white people are able to buy homes more than black people.
Yeah, he ain't forgave me none of my loans.
No. These are facts, bro.
It's a talking point as far as I'm concerned.
That's not talking points. That's called policy that leads to results. Yeah, that's the pot. So when they get their loan forgiven, their ability to buy a house increases faster. They can go buy a house at a younger age. They can go get a higher house. They can get one of these dope ass townhomes you building, right? Like these are realities, right? So when you say it doesn't affect black people, that's just not reality, bro.
Byron,
I'm sorry.
Byron, I'm sorry.
I'm just tagging. I'm not.
I'm sorry. He told your ass up on that one.
Yeah. He kept it real. He was some good points. But that wasn't my point, though. But here's the thing, though. That was not the point that I was making, though. That wasn't the point I was making. He told me up on a half point. My point was because I never got a chance to finish it. I still ain't finished it,
bro.
My point is, I don't believe our negotiation strategy is the correct strategy. I don't believe that. That's my point.
I would
and
say
that point,
it could be better because I don't think
it could be better.
Yeah,
it could be better.
I could be honestly say it could be better because we don't have a solid leg to stand on when it comes to negotiation.
But Byron, we agree that it could be better, right? We agree that it could be better. But I just challenge whenever we make these blanket statements. It's like, hey, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Yeah, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it, right? And my point is, and I think we can agree on this. If me and you don't agree on the top 3 things that Black Americans need, then whenever it's a problem, right? So I might believe, like I in my heart believe that Black people need more wealth. If we have more wealth, we can have more power, right? And if we have more power, we can get more change. See, that's clear for me, right? And wealth starts with real estate. So I support anything that helps us be able to get wealth in this country, right? So the student loan thing for me is real, right? Because that's a direct correlation. I just broke that down. And I broke down earlier, Schedule 1 marijuana is a real thing because an adverse amount of Black men are in jail based on marijuana charges. That's a fact. And if we had 2-parent households, if our Black men was not in jail and they were actually in households with our women, then our households would make more money. Therefore, we'd be able to buy more real estate. Therefore, we'd be able to get more wealth. So even though, so I can acknowledge that you may not get that credit, but those are direct correlations to me. You see what I'm saying?
I 100% agree with you, Najee, but I really believe that no president wants that for Black people.
Oh, that's not their goal because we only had one Black president. Right, so yeah, so
I don't think nobody want that for us. You're on mute, Don. You're on mute. You're on mute, Don.
I want to say this. And you tell me if they sound similar. Asian community, Hispanic community, Jewish community,
they all
Muslim community, LGBTQ community, Black community.
We all at the bottom.
I'm just saying. Are we as cohesive as these other communities?
We're not.
We cohesive when it comes to the stuff that don't matter.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, but when it comes to anything that matter, you know what I'm saying? It don't. But I believe that at the end of the day, bro, we taking such a lazy approach to our voting patterns, in my opinion. I don't believe no politician is just out of the kindness of their heart willing to give you anything. I believe you get what you negotiate. And I think, bro, I just feel like we not doing this in a smart way, in my opinion. I really believe that.
What's the answer,
I think we need to have another show on this, like Blacks in Politics, how we can actually understand and know what's going on. Because most Black people, I ain't say Black people, a lot of people don't know what's actually going on at all.
Don't.
Like I ain't never heard of Project 25 to the day.
Let's get some Black politicians on the show.
I ain't never heard of it.
I hope, hey O'Neal, I truly hope everybody on this deal, right? Particularly if you somebody that agrees with Byron that we should start negotiating and looking at what the other side is looking at, which again, in theory, I agree with you in theory, but please go look at Project 2025 and don't dismiss it. That's their platform. Who made it up? Look at the Heritage Foundation, right? Because if you don't know who the Heritage Foundation is, you should not be voting for Republican ever. Like you cannot, like you need to understand who they are, right? Like you need to know who you're voting for, right? And that's for me. We all agree, like, hey, Black people need to get more educated. So I'm challenging everybody on this thing to go look at what they said. Like I'm not making an accusation here. I'm literally asking you to go read the policy from the group of people that drives their policy. That's all I'm asking. And if you come back and say you agree with everything, good, right? Then you should be voting for that, right? And that's real easy. I'm not telling you what to say about it. I ain't tell you what was all in it, right? But if you agree with everything in it and you're down with it, cool, right? Shoot yourself in the foot. That's cool.
Wait, why we got Foots got to get shot? I'm just trying to get a better
I didn't do the
understanding.
shooting now. Oh, I didn't do the shooting.
Because probably after you read it, you
hold on.
probably after you read it, you ain't gonna
People gonna get shot.
Yeah.
People get shot with it.
I want to highlight this. So it says this is from Pew Research data that I want to highlight real quick. It says this report highlights that while black voters overwhelmingly support Joe Biden, right? Which we know this, there's significant,
He said
Pew Research too.
Pew Research. Pew Research Center. Yep. Highlights. So this report highlights that while black voters overwhelmingly support Joe Biden, there's a significant portion, 49%, who would prefer different candidates altogether. Younger black voters show more openness to Trump compared to older voters, indicating a generational divide in political preference, according to the Pew Research May 20th, 2024. What are y'all thoughts on that? And then I also have a couple different other takes as well, that there is, I believe, that the younger voters are moving away from blind traditionalism, and they are looking at, okay, what specifically benefits me? I do believe by way of the advent of social media, we've gotten a little bit more informed. I believe that a lot of the younger folk are able to access more information, more data faster than a lot of the older population was able to do, because, let's just keep it real. We just kind of have traditionally done things, whether it made sense for us to do so or not. It was just passed down. We did it because grandma did it. We did it because our cousin did it. And this is just what we do. Not really looking into the issues, not really looking into the facts, just saying she did it, so I'm going to do it. What's y'all thoughts on these new trends? Do you think it's a good thing? What the Pew Research Center has highlighted, and what's your thoughts on it before we head up out of here?
Voting your pocketbook and hoping that it doesn't become more dangerous for you is a mistake. Okay, when you have certain attitudes in power, just because economically I can do better on my taxes, but you make it harder for yourself to navigate the economic process. That doesn't make sense, because somebody else gets a tax break, that doesn't mean that you all are equal. You're equal in the tax break, but that's it.
But they're not equal in that, Don, because majority of black people don't even own property, right? So majority of black people won't benefit for these tax breaks that we talking about. So let's keep it to the facts. So we're asking people to vote to help some other people in their tax brackets, but ain't about to help theirs, right? So for me, keeping it real, a lot of the Trump tax policies has absolutely helped on Najee, but 90% of black people ain't in my position, right? So I'm actually trying to help my other people get to my position, right? And the only way you're going to do that is actually having policy for these people to come up. You know what I'm saying? But to get specifically to Byron's point, I think it's always good for people to have more information. I think it's always good for people to challenge the conventional wisdom, right? I believe in these things. Now, the only challenge I do have in your statement is around social media. Your social media, massive amount of information is only if you only get what your algorithm spits out.
That's true.
Okay.
And it can be fake. It can be fake news.
Exactly. And it's a lot of fake news out there.
Most of it is fake news for clicks.
Most of it is fake news out there, right? Because we're behind the scenes. We know that, right? A lot of it's fake news, and your algorithm actually can put you in the fishbowl. Right,
Facts.
Your algorithm can actually put you in the fishbowl, and I actually see that happening right now with social media. Right, so it's a lot more information, but oftentimes it's the same information, and that same information could be completely false. Right, that's why you got people thinking the Earth is flat. That's why you got people.
It'll confirm your biases. It'll definitely confirm your biases.
Bias. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias.
Was this survey taken before or after he got convicted of 34 felonies? But this is a game changer. That's a game changer. Right now, listen, we dealing with the youth now. This youth right now is a generation where nobody's addressing them.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear them talk about their support for this candidate who just got convicted of 34 felonies, it's because of the STEMI check. They say they missed those STEMI checks. They not gonna get the STEMI checks, bro. But they missed them STEMI checks.
They missed them STEMIs.
Yeah, them STEMIs,
and to be
man.
clear, Pelosi
And then on
gave
top
those
of that,
checks.
Trump represents the gangster, right? You know, the gangster in popular culture, right? It's something that we've been celebrating for a long time. He's a rebel. He's an outsider. He goes against all norms. So yeah, they're gonna be attracted to that. He's not somebody that these old stiffs that already been in the office for all these years and they coming out against him. So yeah, they're gonna be attracted to that. What we have to do is change our messaging and actually understand what the youth want and what their concerns is so that we could address them. Peace.
Yeah, you got to give me more choices, Byron. You got to give me more choices. If my choice is I'm going to make a deal for this house or live outside, I'm going to make a deal for the house. Okay, I don't have any negotiating power. But I don't want to live outside.
Here's my thoughts, Byron. A lot of people vote with their checkbook, but then don't follow where the tax revenue was going. So you can pay taxes, but what does it do? Well, how does it benefit you if it's not going into your community?
I can't hear nothing.
Y'all can't hear me?
I can hear you.
No,
I
that's
hear
Byron.
Oh, okay.
That's Byron.
So that's what I want to challenge us on. Yeah, we can vote with our checkbook, and some of us aren't going to pay taxes because some of the tax laws that whoever's in office puts in, and that's great. But when we do pay taxes, or for those that are paying taxes, I think it's really important to see where that tax revenue is going, right? If someone's giving you a tax savings, but the people that are paying taxes, none of it benefits people that look and talk you, I think we have to dig a little deeper. So for me, I never just vote with my with my checkbook. I also look at where's the revenue going and who is benefiting from it. I'm following the money. And that's important because right now we're spending a lot of money in helping other countries that don't have nothing to do with what we got going on here. And there's a lot of people in our community that's not getting any help, but this country was built on our backs. So
how you feel about that?
Go ahead.
How you feel about that?
I mean, I don't like it. I don't think it's how Al feels about it. It's how do we feel about it, and what commonalities are we going to voice to do something about it? Because our community is so splintered. When people that do well, people hate on them. I mean, we have as a community, we have a crap in a bucket mentality, and until we fix that and have a common cause, it's kind of hard to make sure that things that are important to us are passed from a policy and legislation standpoint. So I'm just saying, like, hey, we can vote with our checkbooks all the time, but if all the tax revenue is benefiting people and not benefiting us, it doesn't even matter.
Well, listen, I know that this gonna sound like some real Reaganomics here, but the truth is, at the end of the day, do you believe that even though the majority of Black folks may not be able to take advantage of some of the same things that Onaje is able to take advantage of by way of him owning, nice, sizable portfolio of real estate, or you even Al, right? Do you believe that who are his tenants though, right? Who are his tenants able to take advantage of that affordable housing that he's able to create, right? Right? Who are the beneficiaries of those things? And I'm not trying to speak to no Reaganomics, but I'm just saying, like, bro, who benefits from that?
Though?
Let's just keep it real.
In the door, though. That's the issue, though. How did I get in the door? Right? I got in the door for policies that helped out regular poor people, right? Like I got in the door with the NACA program. The NACA program ain't no policy that the other team like.
But my point is, however you got in there, the fact that you were able to get in there and take advantage of those tax benefits,
right? Like to Al's point, right? Like Al laid it out, right? Where the tax dollars going? You know what I'm saying? Right now, I pay a lot of property taxes going towards HISD. Right now, my governor is giving my tax dollars for my education to go to the education of my tenants, right? Because I pay more in tax dollars to HISD than just my kids, right? I pay enough to for several kids, right? That money is being funneled outside of my city. I don't like that, right? My constituents are getting hurt. My tenants are getting hurt because my tax revenue is being funneled out of this city. That's a problem for me. To Al's point, right? And to your point about like, hey, these benefits help somebody else. It's the policy that helps us, right? It's not because if we put into place situations that discriminate against my ability to buy investment property, which happened in Texas by a Republican Supreme Court in the state of Texas. Now it could be legal for me to stump my growth. Now it would be legal for me not to buy more apartment complexes because somebody said I don't want to sell to this black guy. That's real policy, right? So at the end of the day, right, we have to get down to the nitty gritty of how do we foster an environment for a lot more people can win. The question is very simple. Do you want to support a group that says, you know what, I'm only really down for one or two subgroups, or are you trying to support a group that, yeah, they got to be a master to a lot of people? And that's tough for Democrats. They don't do a great job of being a master of multiple constituencies. That's their issue, right? They got to support the gay people. They got to support black people. They got to support women. They got to support immigrants. They got to support all these people, right? And they're trying to support this a big tent, right? They have a big tent. They try to support everybody, and frankly, it's tough to do that, right? Because you support this person, and well, what about me? Well, what about me? What about me? Right? And then when they do support you, you don't give them credit, right? We're not gonna give them credit, right? So that's the problem. That's part of the problem. But we do, for me, I'm always now. If the Republicans wants to start actually reaching out and supporting other groups, then I start to hear what they got to say. But at the end of the day, right now, they only care about white men specifically. That's what all their policy says. That's everything that they're about. That's the only people that they're appealing to. That's the only people that they're trying to talk to with real policy, right? And as long as they're there, I can't support them.
But
So
I would
cannot,
argue, why would they? So okay, here's the thing.
Because that's the largest voting block of
Yeah. I mean, come on, bro. Like, I think all of this stuff is negotiations, right? And I think where we get confused is we think that, okay, a politician is going to produce policy that supports his base. Just like what you said with the Democrat Party, right? The Democrat Party is going to put some things in place for black folks. I do believe that we're doing it in a very inefficient manner, but ultimately they're going to do things that, at least in my opinion, I think they do more. Democrats, for instance, I think they do more of what makes us feel good than actually do good. Yeah, I think I
just cited 2 or 3 things that
you
still ain't getting
credit. I get it.
I mean, those things don't matter, right?
Those things do matter.
That base is manufactured. It's not real. It's manufactured. When you talk about government programs, you mentioned Reaganomics, Byron. You brought that up, okay?
Yeah.
When you talk about that kind of thing, so-called giveaways, programs, Section 8 and others like it, all right? When we talk down about that, who benefits from these programs? What group of people benefits from these programs more? White people or black?
White people.
Exactly. But I can convince poor white people to actually vote against them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. But when it comes to people in power, it's called a subsidy. It's still government welfare.
Facts. Mic drop.
But Byron didn't appreciate that Biden loan payoff, man.
I ain't get it, man. I ain't gave me nothing.
Man, I'm still waiting on mine.
How do you get it? Is it just random people?
Bro, I don't know.
I'm
trying to figure that out too.
Money you make.
Listen, we could do a whole show on that. I did 2 shows on that student loan thing. So there's a trick to it, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's some with income level. If you make under 80,000, it hitting you first or something like that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, listen, I just want to say I appreciate you fellas for jumping in.
Man. It was a beautiful show. It was a nice show.
Yeah, this was a great show.
I enjoyed the conversation, guys.
Hey, the thing is, it's some intelligent black men on this stage, man.
Absolutely.
Fact of the matter. And just so we're clear, guys, 4.75 million people have had their student loans forgiven. So that's not a ton, but that's a good number.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I just wish I was in the 4.7.
Man, tell me about it, dog.
You probably making too much money, Byron. That's probably the issue.
I got a question for the audience, man.
I'll help you with your student loans. Call me after the show. I'll help you with your student loan.
Should we talk about politics more? Should we educate our community on politics more? Put yes in the chat if y'all want to see that, because I think we should.
Yes.
I'm just getting into it, honestly.
Especially this year.
Yeah, this year is gonna mean a lot.
And then for everybody, because I think we got people in Texas, Louisiana, Alabama. Where you out, Najee? Virginia?
I'm in Texas.
You're Jacksonville.
Hey, Najee giving Virginia vibes in this joint.
I never knew.
Nah, I'm from Houston, bro.
Okay, and we got people all over, but the main thing is we got to control our community first, and we get out of pocket when we just focus on the presidentials and we're not voting in our primaries. You know what I mean? So we really got to sit down and who's running our school districts, because some of us got kids who's running, our tax dollars is paying for these streets. One thing that's pissing me off right now in the city of Charlotte, they talking about updating the Panther Stadium, the Hornet Stadium. Of course, that's tax dollars, but we ain't winning no damn games. I got a problem with that.
Yeah, your team suck
bad. You know what I mean?
They gonna suck for a while.
Don't tell me nothing about no new stadium, no new jerseys. Give us some games.
Y'all be better off bringing Cam back.
Tell me about it. But they don't like
real
it,
talk.
He'll bring money to your city too.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He definitely would. He did when he came and played that one game. Talk about him back, and then he was gone. I was mad, but
Hey,
listen.
To Darby's point about local politics, I agree 1,000% there too, right? A lot of this stuff happens locally. There's a lot of movement in Houston, in my city, locally, right? The mayor of our city, again, very, very clear to Al's point. You can't really vote. We probably voted in our first Republican mayor in a long time, although he's clearly labeled as a Democrat. He's not necessarily a liberal Democrat. And policies have changed, right? Livable places as a policy. That's for you, Byron. Like y'all thought that was y'all thought y'all was gonna win. That shit's out the window, bro. That shit is out the window, because that's not what he down with. He don't care about small builders making money. He care about his big boy guys that pay him out. Right. And so these things do matter when you talk about city council. We're gonna have unfortunately, and I don't want to speak anything negative in the world, we're probably gonna have the most important congressional seat coming open very soon in our city. And it's important that we get behind and figure out who we want to put in place. I don't want to speak. Maybe y'all know who I'm talking about or whatever. I don't want to speak any negativity into the world, but our key seat is probably going to be up real soon, and that's a big deal. So we got to figure this stuff out, man. Local politics matter, right? Because again, that's who's making money, right? If our mayors and whoever in your city council are not fostering an environment for you to make money, y'all need to be voting them out, right?
Right.
So
hold on, wait a minute. Did the livable places ordinance get blocked?
It's not blocked, but it's not blocked. But all of a sudden, the permits have gotten a lot stricter. All of a sudden, certain rules have changed. All of a sudden, certain D's restrictions are.
We're gonna make it harder, so it's impossible.
Here's what's clear to me: it's not about to get enforced the way y'all thought it was. That's clear,
man.
That's very clear, because at the end of the day, it's large developers versus small developers. If I was building a 200-unit complex, do I really want a bunch of land getting taken up by people that's building fourplexes and duplexes? I do not. See, this is why politics matter. We talked about this on the phone a couple months ago, Byron. I told you what was going to go down. And I'm telling you, it's happening right now. Like, it's happening right now. If you go talk to some people or whatever about certain things that are happening and how the tide is shifting, the tide is absolutely shifting away from that policy because the last mayor, right, was black. And where was he getting his money from? Small black developers, right? He wasn't down with the 200 unit guys, right? They wasn't down for him. You see what I'm saying? But the small guys was putting, hey, they was doing their thing.
And
So
shout
that
out
was
to
his
the
way
black
of
developers in Houston, man. It's so
doing their
many
thing.
black developers in Houston. And you don't see about a lot of them on social media, but it is a ton
It's a lot
of new black developers here in Houston. Matter of fact, you come down here, a lot of the development that you're seeing are black developers.
Hey, listen.
So
y'all have to, that's to be so, y'all have to be seen together more than one time. And what I mean by that is that y'all have to be a force in recognition throughout the city of Houston. It's not very, and the reason why I'm saying that is because they're going to start attention to who has money, who's making moves. Then once they see that, they will get eyesight of, hey, these developers are making moves and making our city look nice, but they're also profiting and they're also paying taxes. We need to rub elbows with them guys because they are having some controlling factors by buying land and developing it and building a community around it. That's how y'all get control of y'all's area and y'all's community.
Either that or they gonna hate. Either that or they gonna hate.
Darby.
Either way.
And Byron, this to you. Have we not seen that over the last 8 years?
We
like
have.
I go back to that development, that land bank meeting that we was all at.
Yeah.
That was a lot of color in that.
Black folk.
It was a lot of color in that. Now let's keep it honest.
And Hispanic folk, I want to highlight that too. A lot of Hispanic builders too.
It was like 80% color in there.
Yeah,
right?
Important.
It was.
I wish I could dive into what the city of Charlotte is trying with a lot of our churches that are owning, and it's a lot of black churches that own a lot of land, and what they're trying to do partnership with these churches. But it's a long spill. But all in all, land controls a lot, and if you got it, they dollar signs. And if you got the dollar signs, they willing to listen and make moves according to them.
I'm happy you said that, Darby, because we are focused on highlighting more of the black developers and real estate, high-level real estate agents in the Houston area with the in-person podcast. So I'm happy you brought that up.
Yes, indeed.
But man, I think we got to talk about this more, man.
Yeah,
try to think about it, fellas. Can we meet up at least twice a month? Talk a little politics, man.
Hey, listen, man, this got me excited, man. This got me excited for that. I'm ready to take on today.
But what we should, but at the end of the day, we can disagree on some things. But at the end of the day, it's important for our people to hear intelligent conversations, right? We disagreed on some stuff, but it's still an intelligent conversation, right?
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, at the end of the day, a lot of that's not happening on social media. There's just sound bites. There's just comments. Conflict or whatever. It's just drama, whatever. And we got to be able to have these, because to me, my whole thing is, if you support a policy that's different than me, man, shit, tell me about it, right? Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about the facts, right? About what that policy is, right? Because if we're not having those conversations, then we end up saying something. Again, for me, I'm very, very clear, right? There are a lot of things happening, particularly at the local level, that's about to change from what we know in the Houston area. A lot of people don't see it happening, right? They don't see it happening just yet. But these conversations are happening. Our mayor just said that Hispanic folks don't need to go to the Galleria.
Oh,
right?
Lord, Jesus.
That just, see, again, people got to listen. He literally just said that. And if anybody who's really in Houston, say what you want to say about Hispanic and Mexican folks, they make up a significant population of our city. Our city does not move without their parts of their economy.
They build in Texas. They build
in our city. They build in our city. So to me, even though they're not my people directly, I have to support them because they're helping build our city, right? Like they're helping a lot. And so if you're saying, hey, well, we don't want these people in certain areas of the neighborhood, man, come on, bro. I need their dollars. Because guess what? I'm paying them out. I'm writing a lot of checks, Byron. You writing a lot of checks for these people. I'm writing a lot of checks for these people. And I need them to spend those checks back, right? I don't need you to send those money back to Mexico. Go ahead and spend that money back into the city, right? So this whole conversation, like, oh, well, they don't need to go to the Galleria. And that's literally something Whitmire said last week, by the way.
You ain't lying. They take a lot of money out of America and bringing it to Mexico.
Yes,
but
sir.
they not
sure
if
are.
hold on. But in Houston, they haven't been, right? In Houston, they live, they rent, they go to they everywhere. And again, whenever they everywhere, that means they spending money everywhere. And for me, that's important. That's a part of the conversation about immigration people don't have. If you foster an environment for where people want to live, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna live, they're gonna buy houses, they're gonna pay rent, they're gonna buy food, they're gonna shop, they're gonna go to school, they're gonna spend
Part of the
money,
community.
right?
And all of that helps the
Exactly.
growth of the state.
That's my position on immigration, right?
Ain't half of Texas Mexico at this point? At least
you say what?
At least half of Texas is damn near Mexico at this point.
Then how are we going to position ourselves to have them spend money with us? How do we do that?
I think they like to spend money with us.
That's what I'm saying.
Me personally, I think that community they like black people. They like black people more than other races.
In Houston, they do. They definitely like they down for us.
Louisiana too. Yeah,
they support us.
We better learn how to do it. We better learn how to do it.
Spanish.
Listen, man, appreciate this conversation, man. It's been a fruitful conversation. We definitely got to have it again. Man, I'm gonna still go back and I want to kind of close out on some of this Pew Research data because I think this is important. I think it's important from a strategic standpoint as well. But I'm gonna say this. So the Pew Research Center, this report highlights that while black voters overwhelmingly support Joe Biden, there's a significant 49% who would prefer different candidates altogether, right? So that's a massive amount. Also, young black voters show more openness to Trump compared to older voters, indicating a generational divide in political preferences. And this is the Pew Research Center as of May 20th, 2024. So listen, voting patterns are changing. I think this is a good thing. We are bringing in more diversity of thought. It's not about which candidate. I don't care if you like Trump or you like Biden. I don't care who you like. I do like diversity of thought. I do like us having more options on the table. I do like us negotiating from a position of power instead of a position of need or not having a position at all. I do like the idea of us negotiating from a position of power. With that being said, I appreciate everybody who took part in this show. And I appreciate everybody who took part in the comments as well, because the comments was definitely driving a large portion of this commentary today. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody for that. Listen, I'm about to go play in the dirt in a little bit and see y'all on the other side of success. Definitely. And definitely tune in. What you got to say, man?
Hey, before y'all leave, fellas, if y'all can't stay a minute after we end the recording so it can save everything. A minute after. Y'all don't have to be on screen, but it can just keep it open for a minute so it can keep it auto recordings. And with that being said, man, y'all have a good day. Go make some money. If y'all need anything from us, let us know. We appreciate y'all. And we're gonna bring more politics to the channel, man, because it seemed like we all need more information on it. We gotta get more knowledge on it so we can actually know what's going on in our local community and then the United States as well. So with that being said, we out. Peace.
Hey, so often people ask me how to get in real estate, how to get started in real estate. Look, I have a mentorship group. I have live classes that I usually teach. It's usually from an hour to 2 hours, depending on the subject we're talking about. I teach from 12 weeks to 15 weeks. All right. If you're interested in my mentorship, text wealth to this number right here, and I'll send you the link directly to the website. If you're looking to go to the next level, I got you. The classes are live. You can ask any question you want. I'm here for you. And I'll see you in the inside. Peace. Hey, what's up, everybody? A lot of people struggle in their business when it comes to real estate or just any business in general. Reason being because they probably using a pen pad, Excel sheet. You got to realize you got to treat your business like a business. Make sure you check out Taskify CRM. It's a CRM system. It texts and drips campaign, email. You can actually sign contracts within your CRM. I use Taskify CRM. If you want to check out the CRM that I use right now, make sure you check out that QR code, scan it with your phone. It'll show you inside of what we're using today. If you want to take your business to the next level, check out Taskify CRM. Peace.